All right, everybody, we're going to get into something a little bit different than what we usually do. We have a very special guest today. We're going to sit down and do an actual interview for once and not just yell over each other about how we feel about what's going on with the team. So today we have a person that I think everybody who listens to this is going to know. She's a lifelong Baltimore sports fan. She is a superstar on Ravens Twitter. She has the auspicious title of being the first woman to ever come on the show. So congratulations on that. She is, I think, the most important title she has. She's one of the original supporters of the Purple Pants agenda. I think she would consider this to be her number one title. She's a devoted mother of three. And I wish that Lacie was my mom sometimes. She seems like the coolest mom in the world. And also she happens to be the wife of Ravens GM, Lacie DeCosta. Welcome to the show, Lacie.
Thank you for having me, guys.
And Drew is here too. I let him show up. I have him sort of on a leash here, so I'll kick him out if he acts up. So you just let me know if he's making you feel uncomfortable, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, you got about a half hour of me not saying anything off color, and then I don't know where that goes from there.
Okay.
And if it would make you feel more comfortable, Drew can stop hiding his Massachusetts accent.
Okay. I'm used to those accents, so.
Right. So if that would make the mood a little lighter, then Drew can drop the act.
It becomes unintelligible though. It'll sound like Ben Affleck from The Tom if I don't try to cover it up. So everybody would understand about a third of the words that come out of my mouth.
Yeah. So thank you so much for joining us today, Lacie. And I will say this, Drew and I were both a little bit surprised that you were willing to talk to us. But at the same time, I think one of the best things about you and your presence on Twitter and, in the Ravens community is that you tend to touch every corner. You don't necessarily let the fact that some people may not be as willing to interact with somebody like Drew or me. Some of the stuff we do is a little crass or off color. But I think, and you can speak to this, but it feels like you kind of treat each person individually.
Definitely. I've met so many interesting people and characters on Twitter that I have sort of been able to, with help from people that have been on Twitter for a long time, like the Rob, Elite Rob. He helps me a lot navigate through who I should interact with and who I shouldn't, or just like be wary of this and be wary of that. And so I've learned a lot in the last couple of years being on Twitter, and how to block certain things out and sort of take things with a grain of salt and laugh about certain things and not take things too seriously. For instance, I know that there's a lot of criticism that comes, and that's fair and warranted. And so with that, I kind of just like move on to the next and know that something will come along that will appease everybody in very due time. So it doesn't bother me as much as it used to when I didn't have such a big presence on Twitter.
Right. So I think it's important. A lot of people, I don't think, realize this, that if it's very easy to find. You go to your profile, you've been on Twitter since 2014.
Mhm.
Eric didn't become the GM until 2019. So obviously he had a high profile. Everybody knew who he was. Every year there was the discussions about in the off season, like, oh, Lacie DeCosta is this hot name for interviewing with other teams for open GM spots. But it's not as though you jumped on Twitter when your husband became the GM and that was your motivation for getting attention. I know when I first started following you, probably it's almost 2 years ago at this point. I think that's really when your presence sort of started to be known within the Ravens Twitter community. You only had like 2,000 or 3,000 followers. It wasn't like you were asking for all this attention. I don't know that anybody even knew you were there to begin with.
No, they didn't. In fact, I joined Twitter just so that I could, like you all, follow the team and, just get breaking news and however it happened. And I think really when it kind of took off was during COVID, when people were just like, starved for content or interaction with people, really. I had a cousin actually in Connecticut who was in college, and he's a huge fan of the team, and he was drawing pictures of the players and he would send them to me. And so I posted a picture, a drawing of Lamar, and I tagged him in it. And at that point, I didn't even have really players really following me, maybe a couple, not many. Lamar retweeted it and people figured out who I was. And then that's where it sort of like kicked off. And then during the draft, when we were here isolated, you know, I would tweet out different things. And I think people were just so starved for that, on like just interaction with their favorite team or any kind of interaction with sports, that they just, you know, were just so happy to be able to do that. And it was just fun. So, and I had no clue at that point that it would skyrocket as much as it has, but I do like the interaction as much as I think they, you know, that my followers like to follow what I, you know, put out there.
Well, and you know, I think that your presence is very positive. You try to keep everything very positive. So, you know, I'm sure you've seen this. It's been coined the Purple Patrol and the Legion of Gloom. So the Legion of
I
Gloom.
figured that out.
Yeah.
I just sort of figured that out this season. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that your positivity tends to rub the Legion of Gloom the wrong way, because all they want to do is be negative, and
Right.
it is like, you know, it sort of galvanizes the Purple Patrol. So it's sort of like this thing that it draws the line down the middle, and it's really funny because we're all here for the same reason at the end of the day.
Right.
So, but you kind of
Right.
answered a question that we were going to ask you about how you consume Twitter and how you engage on Twitter, and really so it makes a lot of sense that you really just got on Twitter just like everybody else, just to sort of follow the team and get information. And it's really funny because I think a lot of people think that you have this like, you know, back channel to all this information.
I don't.
Right.
It's so funny because sometimes I'll see stuff and I'm like, oh, I wonder if Eric's really working on that or not. And then, you know, I'm constantly like refreshing to see like, is he really over there? Is that guy really over there? And typically like, he won't even tell me if they are or if they aren't. So I get a lot of my content. And for instance, I found out about BroCon just like you all did.
Yeah, we saw your son texted you.
Yeah.
I was curious if you ever get like, you know, the urge to kind of jump in when you see a report that you know is fake. Like if I see something online that I don't agree with or I know is false, I can't really stop myself from, you know, pointing out that it's inaccurate. And so just because you have, you know, you live with the GM, obviously, is there ever times where it's tough when you're watching, you know, I don't know, First Take or listening to a podcast and you're like, no, I know this didn't happen for a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's hard.
Yeah, it's got to be interesting. And I know you and I actually share a common podcast in the morning. I always start my morning off with the morning vault. I love Sarah. She's very great, you know, at her job and kind of getting that quick hit out there. And you know, so seeing you tweet that the other day, I didn't know that you listened to that too. It was kind of interesting. And that was where we're going to spawn our question about how you consume the media off of is, you know, how does that change the fact that you, just by being there, you have like a different point of view than us as fans?
Again, it's sort of just like how the fans are, you know, the criticism I understand, but stuff that is like blatantly not true. Really, I can't stand. For instance, I'll give you an example. When people were saying that Eric and John don't get along, well, that is like the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. And I wanted to scream from the rooftops that that's not true. You know, again, I think there's a lot of stuff that, you know, I've learned, which I didn't realize, that in the media, people do things for clicks and, you know, just to get our eyes out of, or get, you know, something. So yeah, that I hate that kind of stuff. But again, criticism is one thing. Fake news is a totally different, but again, I can't really jump in and say,
Right.
Yeah, and that's biting your tongue has got to be tough in that situation.
It's maddening. Yeah.
I can only imagine.
And that kind of leads into, I've heard you, or I've read your tweets when you've said this before, and it happened, I believe it was last year when, a certain radio show made comments and you were in the car with your kids and it crossed a line. So like, what can you just define the line? Because I think a lot of people don't understand. You still get a lot of people in your replies who are like, tell your husband to do this, or, they take it to a level that's just not appropriate. So can you sort of just like spell it out? Like, hey, people, this, as long as you don't do this, we're all good. Because,
Right.
I've seen a lot of it. I've seen more lately.
I mean, honestly, when people tell me to tell Eric to do this or fire so-and-so and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, first of all, I have no control over any of that. And second of all, it's like, would you like it if I came to you and said, you know, I'm go fire your wife, or, you know, so it's just, if you're, I don't appreciate getting attacked, I guess, for things that I can't control. I try and be a positive presence for the fans, and I understand frustrations, but certainly it's not anything that I can do anything about or control. So, and, you know, as far as that radio situation, I just thought that, you know, it's not fair for my kids to be sitting in the car and hear something like that, where they're like making fun of the fact that Cassie called us the first family, which is something that we didn't ask for. But, so, and they were great about it. They apologized and moved on, and I still listen to them.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
And I had missed that whole exchange. Obviously, being in Massachusetts, I don't get Baltimore radio up here, so it was interesting watching that unfold on the timeline. And I think it's great how you've been able to kind of spin. You do get a lot of negative feedback just because of your last name, and I think that people, you know, don't really think it through and see you as kind of like a direct gateway to the general manager, which is really not fair to you. But that the fact you've been able to kind of wade through that and do great things. Like I saw the other day, you did the ticket giveaway to the family coming to the Atlanta game. I mean, I've seen millions of, you know, things on my timeline of you donating to this or giving books. Bree, I saw that story. I think that it's, you know, kind of what Twitter needs, that you're almost like too pure for the internet. Like you're just like too nice to everybody. And it's a breath of fresh air though. That's one of the things that I kind of admire and like following you to see, is the, you know, somebody can take kind of the toxic part of Twitter and spin it into something nice.
Yeah, I think that's something that we need to have more of and teach our kids, because, you know, it is such a great avenue to connect with people. But if you're going to constantly be berating and, you know, and causing pain to people, then like, what's the point of it? It's like, you just want to shut it all down. But, and I've certainly been in that position many times where I felt like, why am I doing this? I don't need this. But at the same time, I do, because I love interacting with the fans, and I've learned so much about Baltimore that I may not have learned about, different community groups and outreach programs that I can get involved with. And I met people like Bree Brown, who has become a very good friend of mine. You know, I don't know that I would have ever met these people before. So, and I mean, I hope people realize that that is why I'm on Twitter. I'm not really trying, because I have seen people think that this is like a marketing ploy for, you know, the Ravens or Eric. That's not it. This is just who I am. I've always been this way. I'm happiest when I'm helping people. My whole life I've been like that. My mom used to say that I was, you know, always bringing home the rescue puppies, you know. I mean, I remember I brought home like a chipmunk one time that was like dying, and we brought it back to life. And she said, of course you would bring home this chipmunk. I think it was frozen, and we like tried to bring it back to life. But that's just who I am. I'm like that for my family and my friends and this community.
If I'm not mistaken, isn't that what you studied in college, and that was your that was your work you were doing, right?
Sociology. I was a sociology major, so I wanted to go into social work. So I actually, my senior year, I was working in a boys juvenile delinquent center, and my parents came down to visit, and I was so excited to take them there to see it. And we pull up, and my dad was like, what are you, you know, he's like, I hope you have your hair in a ponytail and sweatshirts on. And like, he's like, this is just, he was terrified for me to work there. And so I said, but this is my calling. Like, this is what I want to do. And then my mom was kind of shaking her head, looking at my dad, like, you're not going to stop her from doing this, because this is what she wants to do. So that's sort of how I got involved. My dad introduced me to Mr. Modell, and well, I had already met him. I knew who he was, but to interview for a position with the Ravens. And even when my first position with the Ravens was a marketing assistant. And so with that, I did a lot I was able to connect with the community relations department, which is one guy at the time. And I always volunteered to help him to go to, different like events where, helping in the community, building playgrounds or whatever it was. And I loved all that kind of stuff. So, and now I can use that avenue with my, being married to Eric. It's just full circle. I've come back to doing exactly what I wanted to do, which is giving back to the community and helping people that need help. And on Twitter, a lot of fans will reach out to me privately that I feel like I can't just let go, because some of them depend on that daily interaction and help and, just different things in life. And we all need help in life.
Definitely.
Yeah, and it's wonderfully said, and it's all about giving back. The other thing that Will and I like when you give back is the jersey giveaways. I think it's always fun that you give the 3-part clues of which guy you're giving away, and kind of let people guess to enter. I wanted to compare jersey collections, though. I'm curious how many Ravens jerseys you have. I think I might have more and more obscure ones than you.
You might.
Yeah, I mean, I
don't
have.
know how many I have. I don't have everyone, and I do buy them myself. So
are they more current guys that you have, or do you kind of have a whole closet of back from like the 90s and sort of moving forward?
The only old jerseys I think we have in this house are like Ray and Suggs, Joe. But I'll tell you guys a funny story. So when, I don't know if you might want to air this or not, but anyway, when it was years ago. So I went to buy jerseys for the boys one time, and we bought a Bernard Pollard jersey, and I came home and Eric told me to return it. So when I returned it, the guy at the store was like, he's getting cut, isn't he? And I said, I don't know. He's like, he's getting cut. Damn it. Because he had all these jerseys.
Yeah, Bernard's a character for sure. I've gone back and forth with him a few times. He's very opinionated. It's always he at least responds, so I'll give him credit for that. But he's a strange one. Yeah, Danny Woodhead is probably my strangest jersey that I own, and that was just being a Massachusetts guy. I wanted to rub in all my Patriots fan friend spaces that we had their favorite player, and then he obviously got hurt and didn't work out. But
right.
If you didn't return that Bernard Pollard jersey right then, you probably would have wanted to return it at some point anyway. After the way he's been.
Especially now.
Yeah, he's been
one of my favorite back and forth was with him and the NFL chick Rita on Twitter. That was great.
Yeah, she's good at the clapback, and
yes, she is.
I will give you some credit. Drew and I like when you clap back. You've been doing it more lately, and it's like it's just one tweet. Well, it's just the one tweet. You get your shot in and you move on. I like that. I like that style. You don't get bogged down in it. But so we were talking about jerseys. Okay. We promised you we were not going to corner you in this interview, but I lied because I'm going to corner you on something right now.
Okay.
I'm going to put something up on the screen. Hold up. I'm making you nervous now. Okay, here we go. Let me know if you can see this. You see that?
Oh gosh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you see these red numbers?
Yes.
Do you see a common theme with those red numbers?
Yeah, three. What am I looking at?
You're looking at the win percentages for the jersey pants combinations.
Yep.
There's a common thread between the numbers that fall below 500 that are in red, and it's white pants.
Yeah.
Why do we continue to wear white pants?
I don't know. And you know what? I actually asked Eric who comes up with the combinations, and he said he didn't know.
Well,
do you know where
I told him about you guys.
Do you know where they keep the white pants? Like where they keep the team equipment. If that information gets into our hands, we'd be happy to help dispose of them so they can't wear them anymore.
In fact, actually, I have a kind of a hypothetical for you.
Okay.
I think we can all agree that white pants, especially the white combo, has to go. It's bad. I mean, I know the players like what it looks like. I know there's a lot of people on Twitter who like what it looks like, but
Yeah.
the numbers speak for themselves. So
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a couple of options as to how we can dispose of the white pants.
Okay.
Okay. Number one, it's very simple. Just burn them.
Okay.
Okay. Number two would be we throw the white pants in the harbor. And I'd like to add, we can have our friend Brian, who still owes us a jump into the harbor. We can just have him jump in with them. So that's an option. The third one would be we load them into a cannon at Fort McHenry and we light it and we just fire them off into the sun. The next one, we feed them to the sharks at the aquarium.
Okay.
And then I had another one, but since you've made peace with the radio show, I was going to say we have the radio show wear them and jump off the plank of the Constellation, but we're not gonna ask them to do that because
no, they're good guys.
You and them are at peace now, so we'll
Yes.
cross that one off the list. Which option do you think would be the best one?
Oh, I don't know. I think we have to keep them for prosperity's sake.
Okay, so we should just like enshrine them somewhere in a
Yeah.
museum. Okay, now I think we can
So
all
I
agree.
sit in the
The yellow
club
pants need to
level.
go. Never again. We cannot do.
Yeah.
Did they ever even? I think they were only worn once.
They were,
Yeah.
and it was a
ugly.
debacle. Yeah,
It was. I don't really love the purple on purple, but
I mean
Yeah,
it's a
not my
500.
favorite.
It's a 500.
Yeah.
You know, I'd like to maybe get a little bit more of a sample size on it. So like my whole reason for jumping, like I saw a trend with the purple pants. When we started wearing them, I thought, okay, this looks cool. I always wondered why we didn't do it in the first place, because I mean, you know, we tend to lean on black here, but purple is really the dominant color for this
Right.
franchise. It sort of sets us apart. Obviously, Minnesota is the only other organization that has purple as a dominant color, but the fact that we weren't really like leaning into the purple always confused me. And then when we broke out those purple pants, I was like, oh, here we go. So when we started winning those games, that's when you and I connected on Twitter. And I remember I reached out to you and I said, look at these numbers. This doesn't make sense. Why haven't we
I
worn
know,
them?
and you know what? As analytical as Eric is, he should be on top of this.
Yeah. So, I
I
mean,
have to give him this information.
you do. And if there's no one designated for making these decisions, I mean, that sounds like a vacant position that could be filled by someone who has expertise, who has put time and effort, who has passion for it. So you know where to come if that becomes an option.
All right.
I mean, I'm hoping Lacie just takes the spreadsheet and takes the job herself. I don't think you should have any decision power, if we're being honest here. But
What is your favorite purple combination though?
I think the white jersey, purple pants.
Yeah.
And the reason being is because it's been really successful to win at 62% of the time. Or hold on, I'm looking at the right one. At 77% of the time, and it's always won on the road. So it speaks to the fact that like, for example, white on white is 100% a road look. We never wear that at home,
Right.
but it's an unsuccessful look. White with purple pants has been, if you're winning at a 77% clip on the road, I mean, I know a lot of people like to respond and be like, it's just a uniform. I mean, you could say that if we didn't have these kind of numbers to back it up. Trends are trends. So, I think we see it in college. You have like University of Maryland does it. They have a whole, like, I don't even know how many jersey combinations and uniform combinations they have. Oregon, they kind of pioneered the idea of these sort of, wild and crazy uniform looks, and they use it as a recruiting tool. So I know players, these players aren't that much older than they were when they were going into college. They're men, they're grown men, but they're still in their early 20s, mid 20s. They care what they look like.
Right. Did you guys happen to see that interact on Mark Ingram's podcast?
Yeah.
That was
I
cool,
listened to that
right?
this morning. Yeah, that they were talking about the jerseys and which combo. I like the black on black too. That's my personal favorite.
Yeah.
But
Me too.
Yeah,
Or
and
at least the black. I like the black and purple jersey. But but I do like the purple pants. I do believe that there is something behind the purple pants. So, in fact, I was very happy that they wore them last Thursday.
Okay, so
all will be well.
We are in luck because typically I have my tweet alerts set. The Ravens Twitter account announces the jersey combination on Thursday morning at 11 a.m. I think maybe because we're playing on Monday, they delayed it because it did not come out.
Yeah.
So we have an opportunity here. So we're recording this for next week, just to be clear. The Monday night game has not happened yet. So this is gonna come out afterwards, but we're still gonna do this. Make a prediction for me as to what you think we're gonna wear on Monday night.
Let's see. We're not going to wear the purple pants because they
You don't
did it
think so?
I don't think so, because they have to, I think from what I understand from Eric is they have to do certain combos, certain amount of times.
Okay.
Per league, whatever. So I think we'll probably do black pants, white jersey.
Okay. So on our podcast that should be coming out today, that for this week, my prediction was that we would run it back with white jerseys, purple pants, but I also kind of hedged that and said I'm totally fine with us wearing white jerseys, black pants. It's actually got a better winning percentage than white jerseys, purple pants. Not as many games played wearing that combination, but I'm fine with it. Black pants are typically very good. And I think people do get a little confused that I think we should wear purple pants every single week. I'm fine with black pants. It's really, if the numbers told me that we played well in white pants, I'd be all about white pants. I want us to win games. So I'm sticking with my prediction for white jerseys and purple pants. We're just going to run it back. It's another primetime game. We looked great in the second half last week in that look. I think the guys, it's like you're a Penn State mom. So Joe Paterno back in the day, he made them wear black shoes and white socks. And it was so that they would look slower. So it's like, it's about the look. So I think that the white jerseys, I think we look faster in purple pants. So, and we're playing inside. So I think it's a fast look. So I think we're still going to go with white jerseys, purple pants, but I can definitely respect that prediction. Drew, did you make a prediction or do you not have a?
I said as long as it wasn't white, I'd be fine with it.
Okay. And
I mean,
think
personally,
we're
I'm
all on the
pushing
same
for them to
page
get those, to wear those purple camo cargos that I wear to every game. That would be my ideal pants combination. But
I wonder if it's like they have to wait and see what the home team's wearing.
Yeah, I think so.
That
And
actually makes sense.
We were talking last night that New Orleans actually, they kind of lean into their all white look.
Yeah.
So it would really open the door for us to do almost anything if they decided to go all white. And I think
all white, which helps you. You're the whole argument, right?
Well, I don't know the numbers on there all white. So, No,
I mean, if they wear all white, then we can't wear all white. So then we don't have to worry about.
Totally correct. Yeah. And I would love to see us do black jerseys, purple pants. That's one we rarely ever wear, and we're 2-0. So any purple black combination is great. It's just we don't really get the opportunity a lot of times. So, and especially in prime time, I'd love for the world to see us in that look, because I think it's a cool look. But I guess we're going to have to wait on that. So I am definitely going to clip your prediction and put it out though, like later today. So, hopefully
she's right.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Hopefully I'm right. But if you're right, I'm cool with that too. I'm going to put it out there either way. Drew, do you have anything else?
No, I'm just, I'm happy Lacie joined us, and it's interesting to hear from, a different point of view that we don't typically see. I mean, again, it's not very often you can talk to, a family member or somebody in the front office. And that's something that, that side of sports is always interesting to me.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. And Lacie, did you have anything that you wanted to sort of like put out there that we haven't talked about?
I probably just to say that, bottom line is like, I grew up in Baltimore, and the Ravens were my team before I even met Eric, and the Orioles, and I love Baltimore sports. And so, I think I said this to Ben when we did the interview last week, that, depending on whatever happens with Eric and our future with the Ravens will always be my team. And this community will always be forefront in my heart. And so I hope for everyone that we continue to be an amazing organization, because I think we will, because we're led by first the Modells and now Steve and Renee. And so I think Baltimore fans will always be in good hands.
Agreed.
I wore a short sleeve shirt so you could see the nice big Raven statue that I have here.
Oh,
so
which one is it? Is it
it's the bird,
head?
Not like the regular helmet logo,
The Gene Simmons?
The staff doesn't have it on it, but yeah, just the bird. I'll tweet it to you. It's I got Red Sox and Bruins next to it too, but have to I drive 8 hours for games. I might as well, have it permanently into my skin too.
Well, are we gonna be able to see you again, Drew, this season?
Yeah, so I'm coming down. I'm at least coming down to the Broncos game.
Okay.
My wife and I are deciding if we're going to go to another one or not. But I mean, I have season tickets. I'm actually surprised I haven't run into you there because I sit in the club level, so close enough to your 237. So I'm
Oh, you're
close
right
enough to the
underneath
butt.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
we
I'm
gotta
up
get
towards the top of that
Around
section too.
because that's where I am, right there. And
Gotta
I'm
get
in
a photo
yeah.
op.
Yeah, I'll
I'm
come
sure
stand
low.
underneath and make my wife take the picture.
Okay, well, I'll come down and say hi.
Yeah, we usually get there nice and early to enjoy the couches and
Yeah.
open beer down there. So
Nice. Yeah.
that's how I suckered her
Cole's
into
coming
letting
for
me
that
buy the
game,
tickets.
right?
Yeah, Cole and I think it's just him coming from out of state. Yeah, him and I are supposed to meet up and get drinks. So
Good.
I
Yeah,
like
Cole-
partaking in that while
and
I'm in Baltimore.
We're gonna do a little promo for Cole and Spencer and Jake and Kevin. They're doing some sort of tailgate party ahead of time. So
Yep. Yeah, I
Yes.
think I said I was gonna bring my chocolate chip cookies.
there you go. Okay, so we'll make sure we tag them in so we can do a little cross promotion here.
Okay.
All right. Well, Lacie, thank you so much for taking time out of your day and talking to
Welcome.
us. And this was so out of the ordinary, like I told you before we started, because usually Drew and I have a big glass of bourbon and it's dark out and we're yelling at each other before we even hit record. So this was a nice change of pace for sure. And it was great to talk to you.
Oh, it was great to meet you guys finally and talk about our favorite team.
Yeah,
So
for
thanks
sure.
for having me.